Good day and welcome to the Prime Feed News. The High Court has ordered police to allow supplies of food and water to reach illegal miners underground in Stilfontein and let them exit the shaft. The SAPS says emerging miners will still be detained. Police will continue to act against illegal miners at an abandoned mine shaft in Stilfontein, northwest, despite an interim court order preventing them from blocking the shaft where hundreds of illegal miners remain underground. On Saturday, November 16, 2024, Judge Brenda Nukercher of the Gauteng Division of the High Court in Pretoria handed the miners underground a lifeline when she ordered authorities to allow food and water supplies for the starving and dehydrated illegal miners underground. The exact number of Zama-Zamas underground is not clear. While some say there are more than 4,000, police have disputed the figure, saying their intelligence suggests there are only hundreds. The court also gave emergency services a green light to enter the mine shaft, which had previously been blocked by police. Among other reasons, the police said it was unsafe to access the shafts and potentially hazardous gases were present. Police remain in and around the area as part of Operation Vala Umgodi, a crackdown aimed at tackling illegal mining. Nukercher also ordered that any miners trapped in the mine be permitted to exit pending the finalization of the matter, which is due to be heard on Tuesday, November 19, 2024. The order came after the Society for the Protection of Our Constitution approached the court on an urgent basis. National Police spokesperson Brigadier Athlenda Made said, "The order does not in any way prevent SAPS from performing its constitutional mandate." President Cyril Ramaphosa had told Parliament he had extended the deployment of 1,100 SANDF members in the operation for another 6 months at a cost of 140 million rand.
Good morning, Alden. You remember that when we first got here about a week ago, there was some form of confusion between committee members and committee leaders who were leading the rescue operation, but also law enforcement agencies in terms of whether people are underground, deserve to be given basic services, be it water, some form of food, and access to medication. However, over the weekend, when that court order came out, government did to some extent, we must confirm and commend them for that. They did really allow some water and some instant portages to be sent down to the miners so that those who are still alive can still live longer, for them to be able to come onto the surface. So there have been some sense of adhering to that court even before the order was made by the state security, towards ordering government agencies to allow people to have those, access to those services, being access to them and being taken underground to them. However, yesterday something came out, something happened as the rescuers on the scene, who are volunteers from the committee members, were had dropped them, dropped the tools they use to rescue illegal miners underground. That rope came up onto the surface with a letter written by illegal miners allegedly under the ground, and of course that letter was written in isiZulu, saying that sicela ama medication, in this case they were referring to ARVs. However, that was communicated to law enforcement when that media briefing happened in the afternoon, where my colleague was, Refilwe Sibuka, the government official did respond to that. They did confirm that they received that communication and that request, and they will do the necessary processes to ensure that, that request is acceded to, granted or not granted. So we have not had a clear indication whether, that, request will be, granted. However, we know, Aldril, that there are some certain processes which must be followed in terms of issuing ARVs. But before we get to that, let's take a listen to this bite, which refers to the medication request which was made yesterday by the illegal miners underground.
The sending of the ARVs, we'll recall that we have interim court order that was issued on Saturday that requested that we need to give the necessary medication that will ensure the safety of life. And if that ARVs is one of the requests that is being done, we have indicated that it will be done in a very coordinated manner. They know where to go, where the team is convening, where they will give those ARVs that will go down underground for the safety of, or as the emergency rescue, food and medical that was requested.
So that request is known by government agencies, Aldra. However, the the matter of issuing ARVs has a certain way, a very specific, lawful way of handling it. Remember that ARVs must be given to a specific patient who health officials have identified as a person who is on ARVs. So there must be some form of identification. So if I am a Zeniko Mhlaba who's currently underground, I must be able to produce a document, in this case a clinic card, which says and which proves that I am Zeniko Mhlaba, I'm HIV positive, I am receiving this kind of ARV, so that health experts or health officials can be able to send or to come and verify that information, that indeed we're here for Zeniko, we're here to give Zeniko these ARVs. You also remember that ARVs themselves are different, so there is no blanket approach to this particular request. And of course, we cannot then expect that government is going to send out ARVs without knowing who these ARVs are going to, and of course without verifying whether I am on ARVs or not. And I must also be able to prove as a patient that I am currently on ARVs and I'm using a Dobsonville clinic in Johannesburg. That is where I am able to access my ARVs, and then government officials will then go and be in touch with that particular health facility to prove that I am their patient and I am this type, or I am on this kind of ARV. So that's the process that will need to be followed, and we have not heard government really articulating that process in terms of how they'll go about doing that. But the law requires that health officials must be able to verify a particular patient, and specific ARVs must be sent to a specific person. So it's not going to be like sending water under the ground where you just drop water, or send people who are not health officials to provide that water, to provide those food necessary food products to the miners. So that request is going to take its own processes and might not happen as instant as the other requests which have been made, where water can be easily dropped to those illegal miners underground. So that's another aspect I think we should really also explore in terms of really exploring the processes which must be followed. But according to the information that I know and have confirmed, is that that process takes its own path altogether. Therefore, it's going to be very then interesting to see how the officials here on these particular rescue operations go about doing that process or handling that process.